Hey everybody, coming to you from my car today. Isn't that exciting? Different change of location. Today, I want to ask the question, what does it mean to know God? What does it mean to know God? I bet we would have several different ways that we would answer that question. We might say, well, in order to know God, we can know God through prayer, right? By praying, we enter into the divine space, so to speak, and we're able to speak freely to God, and He listens, and we can know His will through prayer. That is a great way to know God. Another way that we might say that we know God is through Jesus. This is pretty obvious. By the person and character of Jesus, we know what God is like. Jesus himself says this, that he says, when you have seen the Son, then you know what the Father is like. Jesus is the perfect representation of what God is like because he is God. And by knowing Jesus, we know what God is all about. Might also say that we can know God through His Word. As we read His Word, as we study it, it gives us an understanding of who God is, what He is like, what He desires from us, how He designed us to live. And so we have 66 books that were written over a period of thousands of years by tons of different people, all for the purpose of helping us to know God more. And so those are probably three easy and obvious answers of what it means to know God. But Jeremiah answers this question a different way. In chapter 22, he is talking to the son of King Josiah. And this guy is not following in his father's footsteps. You may remember that Josiah was a righteous king. He'd come into the throne as a child, and he decided to repair the temple, which had been in disarray. And during the renovation of the temple, they found a scroll, the book of the law, most likely the book of Deuteronomy. And Josiah read it, and he tore his clothes. He was cut to the heart because he realized that neither he nor his people had been following God's word. And so he enacted this massive reform to turn people back, to turn the whole nation back to worshiping God rather than idols. Yeah, really impressive dude. And he had a heart for God. But when Josiah died and his son and their sons took the throne, well, the opposite was true. These people didn't follow the way of their father and continued to just do whatever was right in their own eyes. And this led them away from God and led them into where we are today. Today being today then, where the whole nation of Judah is being surrounded by the Babylonians, and God is trying to get their attention because they have ceased following him and followed idols and just, done these terrible things. And so Jeremiah is speaking to Josiah's son, and he asks him to consider what it means to know God. And he asked the question, does it make you a king? Does it really make you a king to have more and more cedar? Which seems like a weird question to ask, but cedar was a valuable, precious wood for building temples and palaces and things like that. And apparently, Josiah's son was all about just building things for himself and making his life comfortable. And so Jeremiah asked Josiah's son this question. He says, your father wasn't like that. Your father defended the cause of the poor and needy. He stuck up for those who were most vulnerable, the poor, the needy. He fought for them, he defended them, and he sought them out to care for them. And he says, this is what your father did. But then Jeremiah adds something really interesting. He says, is that not what it means to know me, declares the Lord? Is that not what it means to know me, declares the Lord? So Jeremiah, God speaking through Jeremiah, makes the connection that one way that we know God is through how we care for the most vulnerable in society. Now the problem is that Many of us as Christians don't acknowledge that as a central part of our faith and our action at all. We go to church regularly, maybe we try to pray regularly, we try to read the Bible regularly, and we try to be decent human beings every day. And those are kind of the things of, this is how we live in order for us to know God and for God to be pleased with us. But all throughout the prophets, we have seen this time and time again, and God emphasizes it here again, that if you really want to know God, you really want to know Him deeply, know what He is interested in, and live the way that He has designed us to live, we will be people who seek out the most vulnerable and help them. Show compassion, show mercy, show grace, show generosity to those people that need it the most. And the point of the prophets is, this isn't just sort of a one-off thing or an incidental thing, like if it comes to your mind, but we should be people whose character is constantly looking out for those who are on the fringes, who are poor, who are oppressed, who are vulnerable, who are needy, and that we ought to spend our time, our money, our energy, and investing in those people and caring for those people. So when's the last time that you've thought about doing something like that regularly? When's the last time that you've fed the hungry? When's the last time that you have given up your time or your money to help those who are in need? When is the last time that you've sought out people who are in a different socioeconomic state than you and have sought to care for them? This is what the Bible wants to emphasize as one of the most important ways to know God and live for Him. So my challenge for you and for me today is to think about that, to really reflect on that, and ask God to help us to become more people who are more generous, more compassionate, who seek out those who are on the fringes and give. That's all I got to say. See you later. Bye.